If you're dreaming about living close to the beach in St. Johns County, there's something a lot of people overlook until it's too late: how much your home insurance could go up. That ocean breeze and walkable beach access might sound perfect, but depending on where your house is, you could be paying hundreds of dollars more a month just to protect it. And listen, I get it. The beach life is the Florida dream. But before you fall in love with a home near the coast, let's talk about what that actually means for your monthly expenses, especially insurance. Hey, I'm Josh Rogers, a real estate agent with the F3 Home Team, and I live right here in St. Johns County. My team and I help families from all over the country relocate to this area with confidence and clarity. So if you're seriously thinking about making that move, shoot me a text. I'll help you think through what's realistic for your budget, your lifestyle, and which beach-friendly neighborhoods might actually be a fit without breaking the bank. All right, let's get into what you really need to know about living near the water in St. Johns County. So first off, this is the part that surprises people. You don't have to be oceanfront for insurance to become a major factor. I work with a lot of relocating families who picture living near the beach in St. Johns County. Maybe not right on the sand, but close enough to ride a bike there. And they assume, understandably, that flood insurance is only something you need to worry about if you're buying oceanfront or waterfront property. But that's just not how it works here. In reality, flood zones in St. Johns County are super localized and can shift from one block to the next. You could be 2 miles inland, nowhere near the intracoastal or the ocean, and still fall into a high-risk FEMA-designated flood zone like Zone AE that automatically triggers a flood insurance requirement if you're financing the home with a mortgage. And I'm not just talking about a little added cost here. Flood insurance can run anywhere from $600 to $2,000 a year, depending on the elevation, the age of the home, and even how the lot is graded. That's not pocket change, especially for families trying to stretch their budget to get into that dream home. This is exactly why we pull FEMA flood maps and get insurance quotes before you fall in love with that perfect screened-in porch or backyard view. Another point to note is what flood zone your house is in. And I don't mean just knowing the name of the neighborhood, I'm talking about the actual FEMA-designated flood zone your home falls into, because that's what really affects your insurance costs. If your home is in Flood Zone X, which covers a lot of the newer developments further inland, you're usually not required to carry flood insurance if you're getting a mortgage. That doesn't mean you can't get it. It just means your lender likely won't require it. And the cost for a basic policy in Zone X, you're typically looking at somewhere between $500 to $700 a year, depending on the house and the coverage you choose. But if you're looking at homes near Vilano Beach, Butler Beach, Crescent Beach, or some parts of Anastasia Island, there's a good chance you'll run into Flood Zone AE or VE. And those zones do require flood insurance if you're financing the home. That's where costs can jump fast. In AE or VE, you could be paying $1,500 to $3,000 or more each year, depending on the elevation, the age of the home, how the lot sits, and how close you are to the water. And look, this isn't meant to scare anyone away from buying near the beach. I've helped plenty of families do just that. But when you're trying to balance a mortgage payment, insurance, property taxes, HOA fees, and all the regular costs of family life, that extra couple grand a year can be a deal breaker if you're not planning for it. Something else you need to consider is the year your home was built. If the home was built after 2002, it was constructed under Florida's updated building codes. These newer homes typically come with things like wind mitigation features, roof strapping, stronger trusses, and even impact-resistant windows. Now, why does that matter? Because to an insurance company, that means less risk. And when they see less risk, you usually get lower premiums. Now, compare that to a home built in the 80s or 90s, especially one that's closer to the coast. Even if it's been beautifully renovated on the inside, new kitchen, new floors, fresh paint, insurance companies don't care as much about what looks pretty. They care about the roof, the structural systems, and how well that home will hold up in a storm. So if you're on a tight monthly budget, or you're trying to make every dollar stretch, this is something you'll want to factor in early. That older home may have a lower list price, but the long-term costs, especially insurance, could push it over your comfort zone. Again, I'm not saying don't buy the charming beach house. I'm just saying let's run the numbers together so you know what you're signing up for. Because the goal is to make a move that feels good today and still feels good next year when those bills start coming in. If you want to connect with other families who are already living here or are planning the move just like you should join my private Facebook group where we talk about neighborhoods, builders, schools, and even what insurance surprises came up during the process. So if you want real honest feedback from people on the ground, come join us in the group. The link is in the description box below. Now let's get back into the video. Let's talk about something most people don't think about until a storm is brewing, and that's your hurricane deductible. Living closer to the beach means you're more exposed to coastal storms. Even if your home is newer or built solid, your insurance company still sees it as higher risk. And that's where the hurricane deductible comes in. Most policies in this area include a separate deductible for named storms, and it's usually a percentage of your home's insured value. Not a flat rate like your typical car insurance deductible. So let's say your home is insured for $500,000. If a hurricane comes through and causes damage, you might have to pay the first $10,000 to $25,000 out of pocket before your insurance company covers the rest. That's because hurricane deductibles typically fall between 2 to 5% of your home's insured amount. That number can be a shock if you weren't expecting it. And for families trying to stick to a set monthly budget or stretch every dollar, it's something that can really throw things off. Now, I'll be honest, St. Johns County hasn't taken a direct hit from a major hurricane in years, but that doesn't mean insurance companies give you a break. They look at the region as a whole, and they're going to build that risk into your policy no matter what. So even if your home has never flooded, you're still paying for the possibility. It doesn't mean you shouldn't live near the beach. It just means you've got to go into it with a full understanding of the costs. That way, you're not caught off guard, and you can make a decision that works for your budget, your peace of mind, and the lifestyle you want. At the end of the day, living near the beach in St. Johns County can absolutely be worth the extra cost if it fits your lifestyle and your budget. Maybe you're the kind of person with your weekends revolve around beach chairs, volleyball, and surfboards. If that's you, then yes, being near the beach adds real value to your life. But if you're stretching financially just to make it work, and the beach is something you'd only use once or twice a month, you may be happier in a community with more space, lower premiums, and fewer surprises. This is why I always tell people, get clear on your priorities before falling for that beautiful home. Beach access is awesome, but it comes with trade-offs, and I'm here to help you weigh those trade-offs honestly. So if you're thinking about buying near the beach in St. Johns County, and you want a real clear picture of what that means, not just the dream, but the real monthly numbers, shoot me a text. I'll help you look at options that match your budget and lifestyle. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.